Today we're doing a book review and a giveaway. Stick tuned. Stick tuned? Stay tuned? I don't know. One of those. Don't confuse me. This book is probably the best kept open secret in caricature carving. Not everybody can attend a class, and I get that. I'm that way too. I want to attend all the classes, but I can't attend all the classes. This book is amazing, and I'd like to show you what all it's got inside it and why I think it's amazing, because if you're looking to get into caricature carving, books help. This is the book, Creating Heads in Woods and on Paper by Marv Kaisersatt. Now, I have had this book for a while, and I got a lot of pages dog-eared because it is, I know I said this about a lot of books, that it's a tomb of knowledge, right? If those other ones were like a tomb of knowledge, this is like an ancient textbook, the ancient spell book that the wizards used to create their their magical spells. First off, let me talk a little bit about Marv Kaisersatt, right? Because Marv is a carver that he used to be a CCA member. He's a CCA member Emeritus, so he's still a CCA member. He just kind of retired. He's also a retired math teacher for junior high. Lives up in Minnesota. The thing about his carvings is that he has made some just absolutely astonishingly complex caricatures, like massive things that are multi-figure carvings with multi-figures, and it's all one piece of wood, one giant piece of wood with multiple figures, scenes. When it comes to how this book is set up, Marv designed this like you might expect a school teacher to design it. And it starts with a forward and introduction about tools, and it's in a spiral-bound book. But what I like here is that in the beginning, he explains what jargon he's going to be using, about the photos and how to view them, about the diagrams and what you'll be looking at, how the sections are going to be broken down, and what things are going to look like. And he's got the whole book broken down into categories for carving the head, roughing out the head, designing the head, and the patterns. And you can see here he talks about what he does to set up a blank for a head. And here's the size. These are the patterns at 100% size. This is the size you would actually use. You can photocopy it. And he goes through designing, carving, every step of the way. The little tips in the corners here are absolutely fantastic. Let's try this, stop cuts. My stop cuts start with a notch formed with the knife or V tool. Save this, waste this, remove waste, deep notch, remove waste. He shows everything along the way as he goes through the book. And it's really just absolutely fantastic what all is included, because when I say what all is included, I mean everything. Every single thing that you might want to know when it comes to designing a caricature head, carving it, is here. He is not skipping steps. With a lot of books, folks will show you one step and show you a second step, but there's like a step in between they're not quite showing you, but they think you can figure it out on your own. Marv's not really doing that here. He's got everything detailed out. I mean, if you're going to study a subject and you want a textbook to study a subject on, this is that textbook. This is the book that can guide you through everything. So let me get to some points here I want to make sure I showed, right? Here's another one, which is a fantastic tip right here in the corner of the page. Gouge cuts. Turning the gouge as you move through the wood gives you a slicing cut. Turn in either direction. That is such a fantastic tip that I stopped when reading this page and thought, oh my gosh, I have not been doing this with any of my gouges. How much better could this work? And it works fantastic. And I've changed how I'm carving with my gouges to include this right here. And it's just something that I found on page 53 of the book. Page 53, not even like the front of the book, page 53 in the back of the book, right? So that's just one of the things I'm going to show you here. Let's take a look at, here, look at this. He has got realistic pictures here he took of different photos, like photo summary of designing the profile. When it comes to nose strips, forehead strips, mouth and chin, he's showing you so many different examples. And I mean, it's not just like just a few here and there. They are scattered throughout the book as he goes over different sections and different things. Talking about, like right here, male heads, big shooter male heads, female heads, the differences between them, what you're looking for if you're carving one over the other. I mean, the level of detail, the level of the tips and tricks that are just in the sidelines here as he goes along the way are absolutely fantastic. It's like a Cliff Notes version for an extremely complicated subject. Here's one of those carvings I was talking about. One block of wood, multi-figure carving that he did. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing to look at. This is someone who is adept at what he does, and is obviously, I mean, he was a school teacher. He obviously knows how to educate folks on a subject, how to get different directions, tilting the head, the tip, like tilting up a little bit, thrust and turn, take back and turn, all of that, how he sets it up. He's going over all of this. If you're going to get into caricature carving, if you're wanting to get into caricature carving, and you're looking for a book because maybe you can't take a class, this is the book. This is the book that you're looking for. This is the one that you're thinking, which one do I get? This is it. This is my suggestion. Get this one. If you're someone who likes textbook style learning, if you think that a book like that would do well for you, this is the one to get. I mean, it is just absolutely crazy. The back of the book here has a lot of little things you can cut out, right? Permission to copy, pick your nose for personal use. It's a little slide thing so you can figure out what nose you want to use, and he shows you how to set it up right here so you can slide this along and change the jawline for the nose, or to generate new profiles for carvings that you're going to do. And that's just a fun little thing. Here's one for make a face, where you can slide their faces around to different smile lines and mouths, and how to set that up. And Van Kelly did a video on this whole setup right here and how to use it and whatnot. And this is where he got it from. This is the source material. This is the spell book, so to speak, for caricature carvers in a lot of ways. Marv's stuff it comes off like a teacher wrote it. So if you don't like that style, like a teacher is teaching you, then this might not be for you. I think that there's a lot to be said for a textbook style learning experience, and I have really enjoyed it and have really seen progress in my own caricature carving because of this book. This is something that I have been studying for quite some time and have gone back to it. As I get better at caricature carving and better at faces, I get more out of this book on a reread and a study. And I don't think this is not a book that you can just read once and set down. This is one that you have to carve along with and study with and learn with. You have to get stuff out and do something with. He shows you how to make a benchtop carving arm. If you want something to hold your caricatures while you're doing things, he shows you what to do, how to do it, and how to make it. He talks about tuning up your knife. He talks about the types of strops that he uses. A four-sided strop that he made with sandpaper, carbide powder on each side. How he made a strop for all of his gouges. Some carvers use a groove block for stropping the insides and outsides. This is a basswood block. I use to strop all my small gouges, veiners, and V-tools. He carves on them and then uses that block to sharpen his tools. And I showed you that in the stropping video, but this is an example of a CCA level member carver doing the exact same thing and telling you, hey, this is what I do and this is how you should do it too. If you want to save yourself some money, you don't have to buy those fancy strop things. You can just make one yourself out of a basswood block and then you're good to go. Absolutely fantastic. And there's the back of the centerfold with Marv. I like his sense of humor, and his sense of humor is sprinkled throughout the book from front to back. A final last word. Thanks a bucketful, a big bucket to all those folks whom I learned from, and to all those who I taught and learned from. Undoubtedly, bits and pieces of your work have crept into my work, have clarified my approach to teaching, and have influenced my carving style. Thanks also to those who continue to encourage and inspire me to release the beast from large chunks of wood. That is the Caricature Heads book. To show you just some examples of what all I have learned, to show examples of kind of what all I've learned, right? A few months ago, this is the kind of caricature carving I was doing, and he's not that great. But as I started practicing and started learning, I've taken classes, of course, too, during this process of studying this book, right? You can see that I start to improve up to my more recent ones are going to be like this. And like the level of improving is, I think, is significant over, like a few weeks back, right? This is just not that long ago. There's not a big time difference here before I started really studying what all I've learned in classes and what I've learned in books to get to the point that I'm doing, caricature heads like these and attempts. It's just, yeah, It's a lot of fun, and this is definitely a book I highly suggest. You can find it over on the Whittling Shack, and I'm going to link that down below. This is not a book that's through a traditional publisher. Chris Willick over at the Whittling Shack, he has these printed off and puts them up for sale for Marv, and yeah, that's the only spot you can get it. You're not going to find this anywhere else. You can find this online on like eBay and stuff like that, where it's several $100s. I saw one going for 150 bucks on eBay because it wasn't bought from the Whittling Shack. Do not buy the book from somewhere else. Chris over the Whittling Shack, I messaged him before I did this video. I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing a video on this book because it's a great resource. What do you think? He said, absolutely, Johnny. He said, let me send you a copy so you can give one away too. So this book right here, I'm going to give away on the channel today. But he said he's ready for it, so if you want to buy one, definitely reach out to Chris, the Whittling Shack, and I'll link it down below, and you can get a copy yourself. Don't buy one on eBay that is listed for several $100s because it's a hard-to-find book unless you know the source. Go to the source to get it. Don't go elsewhere unless you find a cheaper price, but it's like 33 bucks over at the Whittling Shack. And that is what I have for you on Caricature Heads. Okay, so if you want to win this little carving and a copy of the book, here's what you do. Comment down below and say, I'm in, Johnny, and I'll pick one of the commenters down below at random. Now, if you are not in the Continental United States, I'm not going to pay for shipping. So feel free to enter if you're willing to pay for shipping for the book and the carving yourself. However, for the United States, I'll go ahead and ship the book myself and pay for shipping itself. So again, if you're international, I'm not going to pay for shipping, so don't enter unless you're willing to pay for shipping yourself. Outside of that, best of luck, and I will draw a winner, figure out a winner on Friday, May 30th, which is a couple days away, and I'll announce it on the community page and as well in the comment section down below, and I'll sticky the winner, all right? Make sure you have your notifications on, so if I comment on your comment, you can get that notification and know that you've won. Otherwise, I'll move on to somebody else. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to go over to Instagram and Facebook. Give me a like and follow over there. And yeah, like this video, subscribe to the channel if it's any kind of content that you enjoy and that you like. And outside of that, I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to click on the videos pop on the screen too. So long.